this is something that I kind of do extemporaneously. I've always done these types of things extemporaneously, and that's what makes it fun. I never do the same lecture twice. Years ago, I was listening to Wayne Dyer, and he said that one day he forgot to bring his notes to the conference, and he had to wing it. And this is before my career even started. And I thought, geez, if I ever was a public speaker, I'd just wing it every time. And that's what I've always done. So it's always different. It's always new. It's always right what's happening in that moment. Right in the middle of what's happening right now is a really interesting phenomenon, which we will get to. But first, I want to just touch on what I've got set up here for you. So let's just jump into this. Oh, I can do it this way. Okay, let's try that. Okay. So I'm going to show you this right here. Everybody see that right there? That is the beginning of everything. You've got to start. You've got to figure out what's the right move to make, and you got to get in the game. Got to get on the chessboard and get active. You got to start moving the checker pieces. I like Chinese checkers a lot. So the Chinese checker pieces, whatever it is that you want to get going on, let's do it this week, and let's get into motion. So that's always how I begin every presentation. I do want to touch on some of the things that I am just absolutely deeply in love in. That's kind of off topic for what we're focusing on here, which is detox, cleansing, and fasting. But ultimately, all of those things become much easier when you're in an environment that you love. And farming is something I love, and the environment that I've created around me, around my farms, has always been one of my deepest loves and passions. It's like art. You're creating an art piece. And so my front yard, my backyard, my farm is an art piece. And this is the art that I work with on a daily basis. So I wanted to give you a look at that. Those are my crab apple trees. These are aronia berries, by the way, for those of you who didn't catch that one. Those are, they're black. So that's something we talk about a lot in my angle on nutrition, which is the darker and blacker the food, the better it is for you. And it's a longevity thing. That's in Taoism. They said that the black food feeds the Jing energy, and Jing energy is your primordial life force energy, your ability to survive. And so that's something I've really focused on, is staying on the black foods, in particular, any kind of black fruit or blackberry. And we do grow in Hawaii the black sapote, which is just wrapping up the season right now. There might be, I'm getting back there in May, and I don't know if there'll be any left. It's going to be a real sad day if there's none left. But that's the fruit, the chocolate pudding fruit you may have heard before. It's the black persimmon of the tropics of the Americas. And you may know that the persimmon fruit is indigenous and native to the Americas, in particular the Mississippi River Valley. And if you've ever had wild persimmons up the Mississippi River Valley, it is butterscotch. That's all I can say. It's liquid butterscotch. It's just the best. I love wild persimmons. Anyway, this is part of my art, creating different environments. This is another angle on my farm. Here's my garden, and what a magical thing it is to have a garden. And I hope that all of you at least start to have a garden. Maybe you have more of a knack. Like, I'm more of a person who plants trees. That's more my specialty. Maybe you're a person that's better at doing gardens like this. Great. Okay, wonderful. It just depends on how you are. Some people are really good at growing bacteria and do like great kombuchas and sauerkrauts and things of that nature, and they have that skill. Some people are amazing at sprouting and growing sprouts, and that may be your skill, but you got to try. You have to start. You can see the beautiful views we have here on the farm. And I do have a trampoline right in the middle of my orchard, which I really recommend rebounding. And that's a very important piece of the detox strategy, is just make sure you keep moving. And the best type of movement is when you're rebounding, jumping up on a trampoline. I am actually an avocado grower, so it's not just a name. And this is some of my best work. Actually, I'll take it to the next one. This is my best work. This avocado right here, you can see that we call it the seed to meat ratio. How about that? And so in the avocado industry, we say that this right here has a really good seed to meat ratio. It's all meat and there's very little seed. You can see, that's what you're breeding for. That's what you want. You want flavor. And I've been at this since 1978. So you can imagine how long it's gotten to get to this. But this is the best I got. This is where I'm at with my avocado growing. And you can see that truly is really a small seed there. And wow, when you're cutting through slabs of fat, just slabs and slabs and slabs of fat. And people just go, whoa, you're slicing right through the middle and you're not hitting a seed. What's going on? Because they don't know that this is on the inside. Let's keep going. And you can see just some of the other things that we grow on our farm in Hawaii. So I have a farm in North America and Canada. And right now I'm farming in Texas. I'm in Texas currently. And we're doing a lot of really interesting farming here. And I can get to that a little bit later. And then, of course, my farm that I've had for almost 20 years in Hawaii. And you can see that that's the avocado and lucuma combo, or avocado and egg fruit, or canistel. For those of you who know that fruit, one of my favorites. These are avocado flowers, and I think I'll just leave it there for a second. We'll get into what's going on right now. We're in day 16 of a cleanse. Every change of the seasons, we do a cleanse. So when it changes from winter to spring, what happens? Well, you'll always find me leading a cleanse group somewhere on the internet. You can always track us down. When it goes from spring into summer, you'll always find me leading a cleanse group on the internet somewhere. When it goes from summer into autumn, we'll be cleansing again. And when it goes from autumn into winter, we'll be right back at it again. And this is something that becomes more important as you age. And the research on aging is pretty conclusive that one of the best theories we've got of anything that anybody's come up with yet is that it's basically an accumulation of metabolic poisons and toxins and environmental poisons and toxins that get you. And essentially, you'll break on the weakest link. It could be, maybe it's your heart, maybe it's going to be your cardiovascular system. Maybe it's going to be the brain. Maybe it depends, different for every person. But it's going to be eventually an accumulation of plaque, right? What's that? That's metabolic toxins, environmental toxins, where your body couldn't quite deal with it, couldn't get rid of the plaque. And so suddenly it overloads your system. It reaches a threshold. Now, the idea that we're getting into here, and it's a very important idea, is the idea that we're always trying to drop these threshold toxins and metabolic toxins down below that critical threshold moment where it's the straw that breaks the camel's back. That's a very important concept here. And this appears to be one of the most amazing discoveries, I think, of the 20th century. This has been pretty much conclusively proven in animals that if you are able to lower that load of toxins, and we're going to talk about some interesting and novel ways that I've stumbled into over my career, then you can keep going. You'll stay alive and you'll thrive. Now, everything in life comes with discipline, and everything in life has to be clever. You have to be clever. You have to be disciplined. And this is why we do this thing every 3 months. And the only reason we stay with it is because I know that if I don't stay with it, I'll get back into bad habits. The next thing you know, I'll be eating too much. The next thing you know, I will not feel good about where I'm headed with my health. And I want to be headed in the right direction, and I want to be reset on that right direction every single season. This moment right now, the winter to spring cleansing, is when the forces of nature are most strongly working with us. Forces of detoxification. It's spring cleaning. This is it. We're in spring cleaning right now. And it really begins on the day of the shift from winter to spring. So we'll get onto that when we talk about what we're doing right now and what you can do at home and what you can think about for yourself in the future. This shift right here occurs when there's the day of equal day and night. So we arbitrarily select March 20th, March 21st and say, oh, that's the equinox, and when it switches from the winter to the spring. That's not really true. The actual day when it shifts depends on your latitude. Most of us in the temperate regions of North America or Europe or Asia, we actually shifted into the springtime either on March 16th, 17th, or 18th. And if you're further south, let's say you're in Hawaii, maybe it happened on March 14th or 15th, something like that. And all of nature knows and responds. And it's really interesting. Once you know the day of equal day and night, then you start going, oh, I know this is the key day. And then after that day, springtime's happening and everything changes. And of course, spring means, and this just to clarify this for everybody, it's really important. There's more light than night. That's what spring means. There's more light than night. And once you get that, you start going, oh, the more light, and then everything starts sprouting, everything comes in. Now, this moment that we're in right now with the spring cleaning always begins for us with just gradually tailoring down the food. So we go from the normal thing of like, oh, okay, I'll snack on this or I'll eat that. Okay, I'll have lunch. Okay, I'll have breakfast. Okay, I'll have dinner. And that kind of behavior, which when you're 25, you can get away with it. When you're 65, you cannot get away with it. I already realized in my 50s, I'm like, I can't get away with it. There's just no way. It's not going to happen. If anything I eat at this point, I'm like going, my God, I'm gaining weight. What's happening? Anything. It doesn't even matter. I eat fruit. I was like, what's happening? Because my body's telling me, like, you don't need all that food. You don't really need food. And so that's why we cleanse.